Story particularly for some of the sports fans here. So back in December, I was watching the ESPN Home Depot College Football Awards show, December 12th. They showed highlights of Herschel Walker from his college and professional career. At that time, I said to Natalie, I forgot just how good he was. Herschel was recently chosen by ESPN as the second best college football player of all time, behind the legendary Jim Brown. So I was shocked when Herschel on the show said, I used to sing this song. Everybody's lonesome for somebody else, but nobody's lonesome for me. Everybody's thinking about somebody else, but nobody thinks about me. When the time rolls around for me to lay down and die, I bet I'll have to go and hire me someone to cry. Everybody's lonesome for somebody else. Nobody is lonesome for me. That song's by the great Hank Williams. Herschel said, my mom would say, that's an awful song. Where'd you learn such an awful song? But over the last decade or so, Herschel Walker has become a big advocate for mental health awareness. Herschel grew up in Wrightsville, Georgia, and was one of 7 children. He says, I was a little overweight, and I had a stuttering problem. I was scared to death of the dark. I didn't love myself. I didn't love who I was, having a stuttering problem. Kids picking on the way you spoke, picking on your weight. He sometimes would refuse to leave the classroom for recess. We now call those ACEs, or adverse childhood experiences, and they're major contributors to mental health issues. Herschel once said, you create your incredible Hulk inside you, in the sense that you create somebody that's going to take control, somebody that's never going to give up. So starting around the 8th grade, Herschel read out loud to himself every day until his speech got better. He made a daily workout routine, which normally included 1,500 push-ups and 2,500 sit-ups. He eventually decided to play football and run track. As a result, he graduated as valedictorian of his high school class and received a football scholarship to the University of Georgia, where in 3 years he was a 3-time All-American, won the Heisman Trophy his junior year. He set 10 NCAA records, and his team won the national championship. He went on to play professional football, first in the USFL and then in the NFL, where he went on to rank the top 10 for most all-purpose yards of all time. However, after he retired from football, he was diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder, also known as multiple personality disorder. For years, he had used football as an escape, as an outlet. He said, after football, I didn't have that coping mechanism anymore. It kind of makes me think of the currently popular song Monsters by Eric Church that says, the wolf hunts a hungry man and the devil a lonely heart. A minefield of bad decisions lay hiding in the dark. Greed stalks, sickness steals, and pride lays a wicked trap. You can't avoid them all. No, you got to trust me on that. Anymore when a restless feeling keeps me up at night, falling on my knees is my new turning on the light. I keep my faith intact, make sure my prayers are said, 'cause I've learned that the monsters aren't the ones beneath the bed. That song's a reminder that we all have our own monsters, and they just manifest themselves different ways. After several potentially tragic events, Herschel Walker, and lots of encouragement from friends and family, he finally sought help. He said, people think just because you go to a hospital, you're weak. I'm just as tough as I've always been, maybe even tougher. Knowing your weakness will make you stronger. He continued, there's no shame in asking for help. I did it. If I can do it, you can do it. But it's not going to be easy, but life isn't easy. Walker said, mental health is something that a lot of people run from when they hear it. I'm trying to show them that it's just a word. So Walker sought professional help and was led back to his faith in which his mother had raised him. The combination of mental and spiritual guidance has allowed him to combat his disorder and be an advocate for others who deal with the mental health issues, to show them that a positive outcome can be reached. He does a tremendous amount of work with soldiers and first responders. Herschel once said, when I feel good about myself, things start happening for myself. When you look up, you go up. I share this story for a few reasons. One, if you're struggling, seek professional help. I've suggested it before. Neville's an awesome counselor. He can help you, or he can direct you to someone who can. I saw a recent tweet from Chris McCurley, a Church of Christ preacher, who said, as Christians, we need to stop saying things like, you're much too blessed to be depressed. It only highlights our ignorance on the issue of depression and fails to consider how difficult it is for some to cope. We must stress the importance of getting help. Second, be kind. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. 3, you have a family in the church to love you through anything you might be going through. Paul said in 1 Corinthians 12:12, "For just as the body is one and has many members, and all the members of the body, though many are one body, so it is with Christ." And in verse 18 he says, "But as it is, God arranged the members in the body, each one of them as he chose. We've all been brought together for a reason." Writer Spider Robinson once said, "Shared pain is lessened, shared joy increased." I think that's why Paul wrote to the Romans in Romans 12:15. He said, "Rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep." By doing this, we increase our joy and we lessen our pain. And fourth, whole health includes mental, spiritual, physical, and social health. We as the church can directly address the spiritual, mental. Collectively, we can strive to address our social needs by spending more time together. We can encourage one another in our physical health. There's a mental health crisis in America. We see the need of the community around us. We want to know how we can serve. It's one of the reasons we've scheduled a QPR training for May 30th. It's called Question, Persuade, and Refer. It's referred to as suicide prevention training. This course is as much about awareness as it is about training. There are no magical tricks or tips, and we would really like everyone to participate and to invite everyone from the community. Maybe soon we can do an entire mental health seminar. Several months ago, I shared the story of Tyler Helinski, football player at Washington State, who died by suicide. Last week, I read the story of Evan Hansen, the 21-year-old senior football player and team captain at Wabash College, died by suicide on September 10th, 2018. It was later determined that he had CTE. And I don't know if this is all just heightened awareness or if it's just more signs of the crisis that faces our society. It's been said, suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. We need to try to remember, as Paul wrote in 2 Corinthians 4:17, this light momentary affliction is preparing us for an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison. Proverbs 24:16 says, "For a righteous man may fall 7 times and rise again, but the wicked shall fall by calamity." On the College Football Awards show, Herschel Walker said, "We're all going to get knocked down, but the best thing to do is get right back up." If you're down, I want to encourage you and help you get back up. We have avenues to help. Please let us know how we can help as we stand and sing.